Hello everyone and welcome back. We are looking at videos that you have tagged me in online, whether that be Instagram, TikTok, of makeup hacks, makeup whatever, things that are meant to make your makeup easier to do, or tips that are coming from beauty influencers that may not be anything you should follow, to be frank. If this is your first time here, hi, my name is Robert Welsh. I'm a professional makeup artist of 21 years. It's my goal here on YouTube to help you become very, very good at makeup. And sometimes that means we ignore what we see online, right? Because not everyone's a pro. Not everyone's had the pleasure of having a lifetime of experiences like I have. So we look at these videos and break them down. What's for entertainment? What's good advice? What you can just completely ignore? There's a lot you can just ignore. Subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up and follow me over on Instagram at RobertWLSH. Okay, let's get into it. Let's take a look at our first video.
Find the zygo and then go right under it. And you want to go down your face. Ooh, that feels good. And then do it on both sides. And then blend it. But there's another trick after this that you got to do.
Just interrupting halfway through. There's such a way that men apply makeup and blend that bothers me. But listen. This is great positioning. Was it Bella Hadid who used to do this? And people were kind of copying it. And you know, it works for her face structure. But I was saying be careful because this structure really masculinizes. Makes your face very masculine. If you were doing like theatrical makeup and you were making a woman look more masculine, or she was playing a man, for example, you would do this to the cheeks to give it, because it makes this part of the jaw look bigger and bolder and makes this hollowed in, giving the jaw a lot more emphasis. So this is actually great positioning for product, not this one, to give you a sharper jawbone.
So once you do this, this adds facial angularity.
It does.
Like you'll see on camera, just kind of like adds a shadow, and then come above that with something that's shiny. And it actually emphasizes it even more. So I got this blush, it's shiny.
So, I've seen a lot of this guy online. I think he's like one of those looks maxing people who actually usually get a lot wrong. I'm not saying this guy is a good guy to follow. I actually don't know anything about him. This is my first time actually listening to what he's saying. But this is also correct. If you are trying to emphasize this area here, shine, glow, lighter will emphasize, will add emphasis to that area. We highlight to make something stand out. In comparison, you have that hollowness, that darkness. That's actually accurate. It's very accurate. Yeah.
Put this on, and then watch this. Watch this. Put it all on the nasolabial fold area. There you go.
Do be careful when you put product on nasolabial folds here, if they're quite pronounced already, because you can make yourself look like this. Because you're emphasizing that area, right?
Get the coloring and the angularity at once. Pretty mog in it. Pretty mog.
What does that mean? Pretty mog? What does that mean? Anyway, what I would suggest to this individual is using I think he used a brow pencil to do that. The thing is with brow pencils is they have a lot of warmth to them, so it can give bronzer. So what you're trying to do here is contour. Get yourself a contour pencil. Literally, Katie Jane Hughes, for example. I really need to use these at some point. These contour pencils, which are the same shade, that kind of like still have that ability to add structure. You can still blend with your finger, although I wouldn't do this. I would blend down from that area so you're not like giving it like hatchiness. But a creamy pencil that is made to contour, because contour is meant to mimic shadow. Brow pencils don't mimic shadow. Brows mimic the hair. And some shadowness because you want to add some depth to it. But if you use something a little bit more like this, that's a bit more contour and it's still a pencil. It's not too makeup-y, so you don't need to worry too much. You can still get that structure and the right shade. That's not going on very well because I had powder on here, so do excuse. You get the idea. Not terrible advice. I don't know if he's a terrible person, but I hate that whole area of looks maxing and yeah.
Nesse vídeo nós podemos ver exemplo de sobrancelha que eu jamais faria, mesmo que a cliente me peça. Você penteia ela toda pra cima, corta tudo, deixa código de barras, e aí quando o efeito da brow lamination passar, a cliente vai ter uma sobrancelha toda em formato de L.
Those brows are fucked. Those brows are ruined. People don't understand the benefits of brow laminating, right? I think they look at those brows, and even mine, I wouldn't do what I do necessarily on mine on clients, you know, but I think they look at laminated brows and think that the sole purpose of laminating your brows is to have them stick up like feathery and gaps in between. And that's not really the sole purpose. For me, lamination makes your brows easier to control if they are uncontrollable in the first place. They lay down better. Brow product sits better in, like the brow gels, sits better in brows once they have that softness to them and you can move them around a little bit more. But oh my god, that's so horrendous. I can't believe she did that. You don't necessarily have to brush them straight up. Like I brush mine straight up here because I like a thicker brow. You can brush them across and then you can trim the hairs on the end there. But this looks terrible. That is absolutely terrible. When you are laminating your brows, done by a professional, hopefully, not one of those at Amazon home kits, when you have that result, when you brush them up like that, don't just leave them brushed up and think that's the look. Brush them up and out and pencil in or use a pen to shade in those gaps to give your brow depth. Brow laminations are also good because they lift your brow area slightly. It makes your whole brow area look slightly lifted. Another benefit, you lift all your brows up and you can see all the gaps along the base of the brow so you can then pencil them in a little bit more effective. Brow lamination gets a really bad name because of things like this. This result should not be the end result and the final result of what you are doing with your brows once it's been laminated. It shouldn't even look like that in the first place. That is terrible. This says, no more washing makeup brushes. Try this. And she's got like saran wrap or cling film, as we call it in the UK. She's putting on foundation on and then applying... Oh, that's very green. Might need to redo that color match there. I mean, this wouldn't be terrible. Let me tell you the reason it's not terrible, but let me tell you the reason why it also could be. No more washing makeup brushes. Yeah, but then you're not getting the benefit of a brush. The reason brushes are all made differently is because you're getting the benefit of the hairs. Now, this video is clearly made for entertainment purposes only, so we're not going to blame the creator of this video, but just for education purposes. Your brushes are cut differently because the hairs sit differently. This one's tapered and the hairs graduate up. This is a stippling brush. So you have denser hairs underneath, finer hairs on top. You have this one again, which is more an angle. If you are covering the whole brush in something, you're not getting the benefits of a brush. You're essentially using a beauty blender, but weaker because it doesn't have that density that a beauty sponge does unless it's a really dense brush. So all you're doing here really is punching makeup onto the face, which isn't really great for blending because you want to be pushing that product into the face. But not only that, but that plastic wrap is going to also like stick to the skin and the foundation as it peels off. You are not getting that thorough pushed on blend that you need with complexion products. So yes, it's going to keep your brushes clean, but you're also not getting the full benefits of what a makeup brush really does. It's almost like those, remember those beauty blenders? I hate them. The sponges on the end of a stick and they're quite big. At least with that, you get the full benefit of the sponge, but this is a separate layer, a movable separate layer from the brush and from the product. So it is going to lift as well. For example, here you can see that the actual wrap itself is separate from the brush. So you're not getting any benefits of anything really. I mean, even at the end, that's not blended. Why are we nodding and saying yes, my friend? This says, what's your lip combo? Me. So she has a fork and she's like doing this to her lip. I think that's meant to add some kind of plumpness to the lip, but any kind of like stabby motion, any kind of like pinching, any kind of that is a temporary plumpness, which perhaps may make it easier to apply product when the lips are plumper. But there's no benefit, especially to using a fork. If you want your lips to plump up, using a fork like that maybe isn't the best way. Use a lip plumper. Use a lip balm with menthol. Use one that's a little bit spicy. This is, no, that is quite an intense exfoliation for your lip with the spoolie, with the disposable mascara one. It's not terrible, you just need to be very, very careful. I used to do it all the time, and I would do it on clients or models if their lips were a little bit crusty and I needed it fixed right now. I would use a little bit of that and some Vaseline, and then remove it with makeup remover, but you do need to be careful because that's quite a harsh exfoliation to the lip. Concealer as a lip base isn't the best. Sorry, I'm just going to stop this every second. Isn't the best because when we think about concealer, it's a hydrating, moisturizing product. So what we want as any base for any product, whether that be the lip, whether it be the eyelids, is a primer. Something that creates a barrier between your makeup and the area that you're putting it on. On the lips, you don't want too many skincare benefits if you want longevity, right? You again want that waxy layer on the lip. So concealer is a product with hydrating, moisturizing ingredients. It needs to have that in, otherwise it wouldn't look great on the skin in general. Whether it's a matte look one, whether it's made for oily skin, whether it's made for dry skin, there's a level of moisture, there's a level of hydration. So I use this. This is from Javin de Sol, and it's a lip primer. It's concealer color, but what I like about this one is you will physically feel it get waxy on the lip. So again, it creates that solid barrier. So concealer's fine to blank out the color, but if you want longevity blanked out, go for a primer. Even if you set it, doesn't matter. That could be cute if she just put a little gloss on top, but she is completely covering them with a pencil. I love that pencil. I love this combination, that colour. So you can't see the freckles or anything. That looks beautiful. That looks beautiful. I love that combination. That's stunning. But one thing I do want to focus on as well, as you can see here, I know we all have that like fleshy bit on the inside of our lip here, but this would be a lot more even if she hadn't powdered this concealer, because when we look at this step, look, the powder's gathering and separating, and it's separating the concealer. If you use a primer that gets waxy, you don't need to powder anything. I mean, I wouldn't recommend that anyway. But you can see here, look, for example, the powder has picked up and removed some of the concealer. It's very wet in there, so concealer isn't going to last on a wet surface. Powdering that concealer doesn't make it waterproof, it doesn't make it water resistant. So again, waxy, because water over waxy textures glides right over, right? Okay, so this says oh, I don't put my lip on, I just eaten, sorry. This says long-lasting foundation hack. And she's mixing in loose powder with foundation in a foundation that's way off her color. Okay, here's the deal, right? When people are like mixing things, creating products, you know, that already exist, like long-lasting foundations, but trying to make it at home with what you got. And that's not always the way this kind of things work. When people create long-lasting foundations, they don't just take a regular foundation and mix in powder, right? There can be powders in foundations, but the long-lasting ingredient isn't powder. You could be doing, well, what you are doing is changing the moisture levels within that foundation, right? Powder absorbs moisture and oil. So you're potentially just drying out your foundation, giving yourself the impression that, oh my God, my foundation looks so much, you know, it's gonna last longer because it's drier or because I look drier. That's really not the case. Your foundation, your skin acts with foundation like it does some skincare. I'm not saying it absorbs a foundation into your skin, but there are moisturizing and hydrating ingredients, like we said earlier, in your foundation, skincare ingredients. So your skin will absorb some of that. So if you're somebody who has an issue with your foundation not lasting very long and you kind of see it disappearing in areas, that could be a few reasons, but one of those reasons is the dehydration in your skin. By adding powder, you are making it worse. That texture is going to look claggy, gritty, nasty hours later. Trust me, this is not a good idea. Scissor what? Scissor eyeshadow hack, it says. Okay, 1 second. Okay, we'll watch this and then I need to confront someone here. That's actually beautifully done. That looks absolutely stuns, actually. But can we just say something? The original poster here, she uses these scissors to make that shape. Whose scissors have this beautiful curved line to them like this? Excuse me? Are we touching up a little bit here? She isn't even touching the brush to half the scissors here. There's actually a gap there. Perhaps it's a good eye line. I wouldn't recommend opening scissors like that and having the tip near your eye. You never know what can happen, health and safety. But I do see a lot of the first poster's work going on before we see it on screen. I call shenanigans on that one. Let me know your opinions on these down below. Would you try any of these? If you want to send me something on social media, it's probably best to message it to me. A lot of people block me when they see I've been tagging their stuff. Or they just don't like it. So go ahead and send it to me in a message and I will check it out at RobertWLSH on Instagram. And I am on TikTok, but I hate it. I hate it so much. Thank you so much for joining me. I will see you very, very soon.